Hello, everyone, and happy Pride Month. Welcome to our event, Live with Pride. My name is Ojaswi Joshi, and I'm the moderator for today's panel. The 2SLGBTQIA plus community has fought a long battle for their rights to live a dignified life. Therefore, every year in June, the world celebrates Pride Month in honor of community members who have been through various obstacles in life and have come a long way. It also showcases how far gay rights have come and what it is yet to achieve. This month is about teaching acceptance, educating pride, history, and above all, love. Today we have three inspiring, brave, and extremely good-looking panelists joining us. Sumaya Akhtar, Gionardo Fordado, and Wang. If you have any questions for them, feel free to write them on the comment section and I'll keep an eye on them. So I'll be asking each of you your name, your country, major, and a story about how you revealed your gender or sexual identity to your families. So I'll start with Sumi.
Hi, everybody. I'm so pleased and honored to be here. And yeah, I'm really excited for this chat with all of you guys. So yeah, my name is Sumaya, Sumi, everybody calls me. I'm from Austria and from Bangladesh. And what was my major? I majored in law, and I have revealed my sexual identity very late to my family. I was like 19, 20, so it was very late. And there is still, yeah, it's a discussion and conversation.
Yeah, so and then I'll go to Ingzi.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Yingji Wang, and you guys can call me Jay. I just graduated from university. My major is film production, and I have a minor in comparative culture studies. Yeah, I'm really excited for this conversation and happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month. And Leo?
Hi there, everyone. I'm Leonardo Furtado. I am a student for St. Thomas University. I am majoring in communications and public policy. Oh, I blinked a little bit there. And yeah, just like Sumi, I also took some time to come out of the closet, as they say. But I was 18 when it happened. I was also living in Canada already. I was going to perform. I'm from Brazil.
Okay. So how was that? Since you're far away, was it more challenging or how was it?
Here's the thing. My mom is the most incredible being alive. So I only came out to her, and she also kind of knew it already, what was going on.
Okay.
So basically what happened, I had a crush on this guy. Like, I just want to put it out there. There was like a week crush. We're like deeply crushing on this guy for a week. And then I was like, I'm going to have to tell my mother, because what if we're going to a relationship, right? So then I go there, like I'm calling my mom, I'm on FaceTime with her, and then she's like, and then I was like, I like this person. And then I was like, do I have to tell you that it's a male? And then she was just fine with it. She kind of just vibed. She was, it definitely would have been harder for me, I believe, if it was in person, for sure. The distance definitely helped.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. So the first question I have here is, what is the difference between sex and gender? And maybe this time I'll start with Jay.
Yeah, maybe I can answer the first part and leave the second part to Leo.
Okay.
Well, I did research, and sex is a label assigned at birth based on the reproductive organs you're born with. It is generally how we divide society into two groups, male and females. Though intersex people are born with both male and female reproductive organs. So basically, science is your biological identity.
Yeah, so if I want to talk, whenever I was in this class last year for it was a sexuality class for psychology. It was actually quite an interesting class. It was definitely the first thing that we studied was about sex and gender, as their definitions. And when you go into it, there's definitely so many things that you can think about it, right? Because when you think of sex, you can definitely just think of intercourse. You can definitely just think of how the person positioned themselves into their woman or a male or the other many options that we have there. And when you go into gender, it's definitely more related towards genitalia. I would believe so. But yeah, that's most what I can remember from it, what it means for me.
Yeah, I think that was really helpful. It really cleared it out. Sumi, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, maybe that sex is more a very binary construct in society, that is like very binary male female, whereas gender is very much a spectrum, and you fall somewhere within the spectrum how you identify yourself, and it can range from this end to this end, but it doesn't say it's either that or that. So maybe that helps a bit too.
Yeah, it's more about a person's perception, understanding, and experience of themselves and the role in society.
Yeah, so I think with that, it also comes to like it's never good to assume. Like we have this habit of assuming at times. So yeah, I think that was helpful. Thank you for clearing it out, guys. And so how do people in your country see 2SLGBTQIA plus people?
I can start if you want. So since I was born in Bangladesh, and there it is probably not as open as it is in Austria, where I grew up. So I grew up in Austria, and there it's, even though it's a very Christian, Roman Catholic, conservative country, it is more accepted openly. But just as a reference, gay marriage only became legal 2 years ago in Austria. So they're still kind of behind there, but it's not criminalized. Whereas in Bangladesh, I believe it is criminalized. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it is. But in Austria, it's not criminalized. And, it's like the very Catholic people will not be okay with it. But how I grew up with mostly university students around, it was very open-minded, and like it was never, I didn't feel like I had to hide it.
Yeah, and since you come from a South Asian family, and I think maybe you kind of got to experience like kind of both sides of it, was it like a more intense reaction from your family members, or how was it? Especially your parents.
My extended family doesn't know. Only my immediate family knows. My parents and my brothers. And I don't know if I'm ready to have the conversation with my extended family.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ready for that yet.
Yeah. But even for your parents, like how was it? Like, did you have to educate them? Or how was it?
Yeah, they didn't understand bisexuality, and they didn't understand how you can be one time interested in a man and then interested in a woman. So they didn't understand that at first, but we're constantly having these conversations. It's not like they're, I'm 100% okay with it, and because I'm now in a heterosexual relationship, they kind of ignore that part of me right now. They're like, it's not in front of us right now, so we're not going to talk about it. So we have ongoing conversations about it, and it's getting better. But it's not like perfect yet. But my brothers are very cool about it. They couldn't.
And Jia, how's the experience?
So I was born in China, and I've lived in China for like 19 years. Yeah, so from my experience, I think the older generation, they don't really accept the LGBTQ community because of the traditional, not like traditional values. Because in ancient time, like in China, like we do have this kind of culture, but after Qing Dynasty, like after China got into a modern society, people just start being go against with LGBTQ people, and but nowadays for young people like our generation, like we are really open-minded, and we got higher education. We got education, so like, we are really open-minded about these things, and we have like in China we have gay bars, gay clubs, LGBTQ bars and clubs. So I'd say young people are pretty open-minded, but for parents or grandparents, their generation, I think they couldn't really understand. Yeah.
And Liu?
In Brazil, I would like to say, but I'm not gonna say it with 100% sure. That is like a good 50-50. Where I can stand from where I come from, that is my state, the state of Bahia, and I never been through anything that was bad while I was growing up, because I definitely got out of the closet first to my friends and my mom and my parents was, as I just said, right in 2018. But for friends, it was definitely more okay, and they were very welcome. I never had people that would left me out because of it. But it's almost as the same as Jay said. I can definitely stand where like older people would definitely be more homophobic, would definitely be more unacceptable of it, would definitely be more less reliable in that sense, right? But yeah, that's basically it. Brazil, we definitely have the culture, and we have definitely the social impact and everything to grab on and to grow as a community into accepting all these things. But there's also a lot of barriers into it. That's what I think that happens here.
Yeah, and I'm from Nepal, and from an ally's perspective, I think we learned so many things from the older generation and from our society, and something that I really deeply regret is so there are like few slangs like for gay people. It's more like so it's associated with number 6. So while growing up, like from I think grade 3, maybe like whoever would have row number 6 would be like the joke of the class, and then I think at grade 10, like so I had to give a speech on gay rights, and I fully educated myself, and at that time I was so deeply shocked. So after that, of course, like if they would associate number 6 with that, like that I would get mad, I would take a stand for it. But I sometimes think due to the wrong things that we learn in society, like there might have been someone who was from the community in the class, and then the impact they might have had. So it's quite disturbing. Of course, situation is changing now, like people are coming out, and of course people from our generation, like we don't think that way, like we are accepting and open. But it's just like sometimes we learn so many wrong things from our previous generations, and at a young age we are not fully educated with it, and that can have a huge lasting impact. So I would like to suggest all the audience that be educated on this, and especially like educate your child from a young age, like on being accepting towards everyone, because when we live in a society, everyone's different, and sometimes I feel like there's so many when a child comes in this world, like for us everyone's equal, but then with the society, our parents, our relatives teach us so many wrong things. So yeah, so that is something that I like deeply regret. I kind of feel like, of course I'm not the one who was making the joke, but still, like I kind of feel like if I was educated at a very young age, then I maybe at 4 or 5 I would like maybe start educating everyone or things like that. But
yeah, it's a lot of deconstruction to it. There's a lot of breaking that needs to be done still, and there's a lot of, exactly what you said, that it definitely gets
Yeah.
in the process.
Yeah, yeah, and I do feel like we have come a long way because, especially after this panel, because when I came to Canada, I didn't think that there would be any international students who would be comfortable talking openly, and seeing you guys do that, it kind of really makes me feel that we are seeing a big change. So thank you so much for that. I feel glad that I lived this day. Uh, Is there a strong international students community in New Brunswick for 2SLGBTQIA plus people? And maybe I'll start with you.
I think so. I do believe that this is one of the things that I experienced most change in between Brazil and here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's easier to find people that are out here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's easier for you, but this is where I come from. I do believe that here I had more of an embrace. I had more people that actually were like me, and I had people that were more had a bigger perception of what it's like to be gay and what it's like to grow as homosexual. So yeah, definitely. It does has a bigger community. I definitely feel very welcome here, more than I used to feel that.
Yeah, and Jay, what do you think?
I agree with Leo. I think the same. I don't have much to say about this, but I found so many international friends here, like Leo and gay friends here. So I do think there's a large international LGBTQ community in New Brunswick, but not that many people.
Yeah. And Smita, do you want to add anything?
Not anything new. It's just maybe my experience was different because where I grew up, there already was a big community as well. So I didn't feel like a big change when I came here that, suddenly there's a community. But it is, so maybe that difference is there where I grew up. But for its size, I think New Brunswick is actually not doing good with the international queer community.
Yeah. And how is Canada in general? Would you recommend any international students who are planning to come here and who are in the 2SLGBTQIA plus people? Would you recommend Canada for them?
Oh, 100%.
Definitely. Yeah.
That's great.
Just from experience, I mean, in Fredericton, I find that you definitely still get the looks. You definitely still get the but it's but the good thing about here is that like it will happen, and you sometimes feel a little shaken, but it is not as hard, at least for what it was in Brazil, because people would talk about it, people would offend, but here is definitely less and definitely more controlled. People are definitely actually interested in learning. I see from around. I see even like with COVID, it's just like how things are playing along in different countries. Like how, and the word is not involved in any way. It's just how less ignorant people are here than compared to where I come from.
Yeah. With that, it just came to my mind like. Sometimes it's so different to accept yourself the way you are, like even for us, like of course it must be so much difficult for, I don't know, like it's more like society puts so much pressure on you, like was it challenging for you guys, and how do you guys like I don't know like how to word it, but even for us, like at times, like whenever like people are judging us, we kind of take that judgment, and we kind of sometimes like try to change ourselves, and it has been a long process. Like I think especially for me, like to fully accept myself for the way I am. Has that been ever challenging for you, and what is an advice that you would like to give to people regarding this?
I think so that part of my myself, like my sexuality was never hard for me to accept and for me to like about myself. That was I thought always that I'm fine with it. Like I didn't have anything that I was insecure about. I just thought about reaction of others, how that would affect it. But it was something I would want to change about myself, because that's like, you just stop being you then if you change that. So that never crossed my mind. It just, I was like scared of what people might say and how my family will react. And like there are things I'm way more insecure about than my sexuality. So in that matter, but my advice, I think it's a learning process, and I don't think anybody ever is fully satisfied with who they are. And I think you have to be aware of that. You have to be aware of that and just accept it, that you will never be fully content, but just keep learning and keep doing and keep being the best version of yourself.
Yeah, that is so well said. That's why I come to you for advices.
That was awesome. I definitely feel the same way too. It's like, for me, when I had the realization that like, oops, I'm gay, it was definitely at a very young age. I was definitely like, I knew from an early age, I knew what was going on there. So as I was growing up, going back to my mother, she was very like, here it is, like, be whatever you are, fine. So that part was really easy for me. I never had a problem with like accepting who I am, but I had a problem with how people react to who I am. And that was like the issue there for like a little bit.
Yeah. With that also, I kind of feel like there's so much important role that a parents play as well to give a child a confidence. And and I'm really glad to know like you have such a great mom.
I want my mom here.
Yeah, shout out to your mom.
Yes, mom. And Jay?
Definitely helps with the confidence. Definitely helps with everything. I feel like that's the thing, right? I feel like at least where I was raised, there is an ideal concept of how someone should grow and how should they be, and it shouldn't be like that, right? We're all like all different things. We all have different personality traits, and we all have different yada yada yada. So I feel like we should just let it go and like let like child be whatever makes the most like it. At this point, whenever I think of parenting, that's how I feel like what should be done. And I'm not in any ways that my mom did that. Like she also definitely sometimes gave into what she believed. But it definitely helped in some sorts of way when she was breaking herself into acceptance of who I was. So I definitely believe that we should just let people be who they are.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Jay?
For me, I've never questioned myself being gay, and my advice is be confident and be yourself. I think the biggest challenge for me is to come up to my parents. I'm openly gay, like for my friends, but not for my parents. So I'm planning to do it because in China, like our society, like the traditional Chinese value is all about family, and it's all about the extension of the family. So like your parents wish you to get married and have a kid, so that's the extension to the family. So but I think my parents, they will understand. They're really open-minded people, and I'm not prepared yet, but I think once I'm like financially independent, I got a good job, I'll tell. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge for me, but I believe everything is going to be okay. Be confident.
Yeah, I believe so too, hopefully. And when did you first realize that you're gay or bisexual, and how long did it take for you to come out?
I can start that one. Oh, okay. All yours. Right there? Yeah, it's definitely what I said. I knew from very young, like memories that I have from when I was in kindergarten, that I was definitely like, I don't like to use the word feminine, but I was definitely more delicate. I was definitely more like liked the toys that were made for girls, and like definitely was in that scenario. That was me. And I definitely knew like that I was more attracted, and I was definitely very attracted to male. So even in like I could see that the boys that I was in the garden for, I never wanted the girls to be my friends. I wanted the boys to be my true friends, and I want to be really close to boys, and it was definitely something there. But I knew from a very young age, and then it took me quite a while to figure it out 100%. But by high school, I was out to everyone in my school, and by university, I was out to everyone in family. Hi, I'm Leah. But yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that is such a beautiful story. So Jay. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, things are kind of complicated because when I was in middle school, when I was in high school, I used to like girls, and like I was struggling, like looking for the truth. But then in university, I found my first boyfriend, and we had a relationship, and then that led to come out to people. Yeah, so yeah, it's also in university. I'm out to everyone. I'm Jay. Hi.
Hi, Jay. Welcome to the club.
Yes. Yeah, and that's Sumi.
So for me, it was different because, is my camera not working? Or can you see me?
Yes,
We can
right.
see you.
Okay. So for me, it was different in that sense because I didn't know for a very long time until I think I was 18, 19, probably, when I had my first girlfriend and was like discovering new things. And that's when I kind of knew. And I still I myself am sometimes confused if I'm bisexual or pansexual, or like what actually is the difference. But I don't know yet what I would identify yet. But I realized it very late. But then I didn't wait that long to come out. Actually, I realized it, and then I told my friends first, and then like a few weeks later, I told my parents, and like I told them by bringing my girlfriend home and like, hey, it's my girlfriend. So this was maybe probably a shock for them. I could have done it better.
Yeah, that must have been like right to the point.
Yeah, but yeah,
That's
so
nice.
there was not a long gap between like when I knew and when I came out.
Yeah, wow, these are three beautiful stories. Like, yeah, and those are so unique as well. Like, yeah, everyone has a unique experience. To like,
I think the biggest challenge for coming out is to come out to the first person. The first person is always the hardest, and then after that, you're gonna be like more comfortable telling everyone.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and
That's true.
when a person is coming out, what do you think would be some of the best things for allies to say? And some things that allies should not say.
Definitely don't be a dick.
Yeah. Don't start being friends with me.
Yeah, but the best thing that I could think is not even a say. It's just support. I guess like in not in the ways of like oh my god, like you're gay, here's money. No, it's just like be there, like prompt yourself to, if I have any issues into this, at least you're gonna be by my side. Like, so, and obviously respect. That's the most.
Yeah, to build that, I'd say respect definitely, and maybe like say that, oh, that doesn't change anything between us, or like I don't see you any differently for that purpose. So some things like that, and don't like. Sometimes okay, there's like no criticism, but like don't be over achieved and over involved in it, and like don't like text the websites, oh, this and this, did you know that, like chances are I know this is for you, not for me. So don't do that. Don't be like an overachiever ally, but just be respectful and just don't treat me differently.
Yeah.
Respectful, and could you can say some sweet words like, I'm here, always supporting you, no matter who you are always my best friend. Yeah.
I had one friend, the first time he came out with me. There were a couple other people as well, and I think that is a memory that I will cherish forever, and I'm really glad I got to experience that. As you guys were saying that, like, I kind of got a bit emotional. Like, yeah, it's like it's really sweet. Yeah. And have you guys ever been bullied because of your sexual identities, and how did you handle it? And are there any tips for people who are going through similar situations? Or mostly, like, how did you guys handle it? So maybe I'll start with Liu.
Yeah, I can go first. I don't want to say I've been bullied for it but there was definitely like two things that happened that were more that definitely cut in the gut. When I was a kid, definitely people would call, and definitely people would say names, and people definitely go for slangs and things. However, how I react to it is that I stand for myself. All the times I would say I would like call out as well. Like I would definitely make the other person's life hell. which is not in a mean way. I wasn't like offended by it. I just wanted people to see me by like how like that didn't matter almost. Like, yeah, I am. Cool. What are you gonna do about it? So it was more like those things that definitely happened to me more than anything. And I thought when I was in high school, a way of me dealing with the whole bullying process was for me to come out. I thought that like things ended so much when I was like, yeah, I'm gay. What are you gonna do about it? Like even like going for first year of high school and everything else, it was just very much like that. Like whenever I was like, yeah, this is me, and then it stopped a lot. Like it just stand up for yourself, definitely. It's like show people who you are. And if they're afraid of it, they're afraid of it.
Yeah, that's their problem.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Jay, do you want to be next?
I'd say I've never been bullied because of that. There was an experience when I was in high school, because my high school was a military high school. You know, every day, it's like in the military, and those guys. But I'm pretty sure like this like really small group of people. I guess it's just being really cocky and judge about this, judge about that. But the friends around me, they always really open-minded. Like this is also a trick when I choose friends. I know who who they are, so I'll be friends with them. But there's definitely gonna like there's always a bunch of people who are homophobia. Yeah. I've never been bullied, even in military high school.
Okay, yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that's really like people have a different perspective of military people as well. So I think that's also breaking stereotype for them. Like my dad is also in the army, and you kind of tend to feel like, oh, they're strict and like, yeah, bullied with a bully, but that's nice. And Asumi?
I don't think I haven't been bullied, but maybe like on the other spectrum, I don't know if it's maybe because I'm a girl thing, but there's a lot of fetishization by straight men. So
Yeah.
You're the problem, straight
Yeah.
men.
yeah, cisgender straight men.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happened sometimes because, like, you know, when you're out with a girlfriend and then straight men were like, oh, just kiss for us and stuff like that. So definitely sometimes that, but not like bullied because of my identity.
Yeah. Yeah. And how about from straight girls?
No, never.
Yeah. Yeah. I one time like kind of thought maybe I'm bisexual, like because of me. But yeah, but that wasn't true.
Oh.
There was a period in my life. Yeah, but it was good time. And I had to figure out myself. And Leo, oh sorry, yeah, I think you answer this? Yeah, yes you did.
Yeah.
So I have now two more questions. Some religion says it's wrong to be gay, and many people think that they are committing a sin. And surprisingly, like while talking to so many of my other international students, it kind of like they were getting phone calls from their community people because they were sharing like pride-related things, and you really had to educate them. And it was surprising because it was literally youngsters, and the main reason was like it's in our religion it's called a sin, which is like very sad. So what do you guys have to say for them? So, and I'll start with Jay.
Oh, yeah, because you know me, you know, I'm a Buddhist.
Yeah.
So, are you talking about a religion?
No, just in general, like even if it's like any other religion, people who say it's a sin, so for them. But then you can talk a bit more about like what Buddhism says as well, because I know they have a lot of good things.
Yeah, I'm a Buddhist, so I'll just focus on talking about how Buddhists think about this thing. There's one saying in Buddhism that everyone is equal. Everyone in this world is equal. So like love is love. So it doesn't matter if you like women, if you like men. So like for Buddhism, it's all about unity and be yourself. So it's pretty open-minded. And there's one thing about Buddha. Like Buddha, they don't have sexuality. Like Buddha can be men, and a Buddha also can be women. So even like gender, sex is really like mixed together.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Buddhism.
Yeah. Yeah, and Leo.
I grew and I come from a very Catholic family. I wasn't raised exactly in religion because it wasn't like a thing of my family. The funniest thing about Catholics is that we will say that we're Catholics, but we won't go to church. But so I had a grandmother. I have a grandmother who is definitely really into religion. She was always very into religion until now. She still goes to church. She still does the whole thing. But it's really funny it's really interesting because she also outgrew a lot of it. She also outgrew a lot of the homophobia because of it, and everything that is bad that comes with religion. Because there's definitely, so like we cannot just be like, oh, you're so beautiful and everything. No, definitely there's some stuff that is not fun and not good, and like. But that's how I feel like there's definitely place for evolution and to evolve, to understand. Because if my grandmother, that is a 63-year-old woman, who is super Catholic, been Catholic her entire life, did it, then why cannot other people from the same religion do the same?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that is what that's for me. Like it was hard when I was a kid.
Mhm.
Now it's very different because I am away from the religion, obviously, but also because the people that are in the religion were very simple.
Mhm.
So that's my side into it.
Mhm. Yeah. Sumi.
So I'm Muslim, and I'm religious. I believe in God, and I am practicing Muslim, I'd say. So I have a unique relationship, I think, with my religion.
Mhm.
And for that, I just say I know like a lot of some closeted people who are from the Muslim community who know it would be probably like in the parents' eyes a sin if you are
Mhm.
identify as not straight.
Mhm.
But I would say, and how I talk about it with my parents, because at first that was a kind of thing for them too, because they are very much practicing Muslims. It's just religion, how it was written and originally intended, it cannot be translated over time, like
Yeah.
exactly like that.
Mhm.
It has to go with time, and it has to go with change, and it has to go with people, and you just apply the core principles
Mhm.
that each religion has that are actually beautiful, and just stick to them, and don't take everything literally, because it was
Mhm.
never intended to be taken literally. Otherwise it would not have, like, there wouldn't have been so many translations, or like people wouldn't have passed it on orally so much if it was intended to be taken literally, which is not.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. 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 And I'm Hindu, so and I've never been that religious, but from this year I'm kind of doing more research, and you guys know in Hinduism we have a lot of God. So from this year I do feel a bit more connected to Shiva. So he is also considered as the first yogi, and what was so powerful about that was so it says like in history, like people would sometimes get confused if he was a girl or a boy, because he had that combination of masculinity and femininity, and he's also considered as first yogi. And that's also kind of like I know Buddhism, like they also kind of follow like some of the principles from there. And that's kind of so powerful, and I kind of feel like this, like we kind of put it in the box, like, oh, if you're a girl you should do that, if you're a boy you should do that. But I think only when there's a mixture of both, then kind of you're powerful, and you also kind of, you're more free to be how you are, like, yeah. So like that's really powerful. Yeah. And why do gay and lesbian people have rainbow flags or rainbow stickers, and what does it mean by it? So Sumi.
For I think I haven't done the research on it, so there's probably like historical reasons for it, but it is, as far as I know, the inclusivity, because a rainbow has all colors, which is basically including all people in there and not excluding anybody.
Yeah. Same. The history of it goes and falls into the same way that Sumi just said. So it's basically they created. It was a guy in California, I believe.
Yeah.
They created it for the same reason. It was just to give diversity. So every color has a representation of something, and all colors combined definitely represent the community. Because it's a community of uniqueness, a community of so many facets, right? So
it's a whole spectrum of
the whole spectrum.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like, I feel like it's a good way of like identifying ourselves. It's just because if you feel like of a way, we as gay people and as a way of representing ourselves, we do need that little badge. And it's not because we're trying to inflict gay agenda on anyone. It's just because we feel like that, and it's fun to feel like you're part of something, and like you mean something to someone, but you might as well just be part of it, right? So.
and having them on your backs doesn't mean like you have to be a part of that, a part of this community. Like you can always support it. You have the rainbow tags or stickers on your back. Yeah, like it means you support our community, and it's a good thing.
Yeah. And so before closing, like if you'd like to add anything, and I also have like one question. As we see, like our world is sometimes full with hate and lack of empathy, and in that process, it is like very difficult. Like there's lack of love, and especially I think for me to look back, like for me to become like a more confident woman, like I think many of my friends from the 2SLGBTQIA plus people have helped me, and I think the world can learn a lot from the community. So yeah, so if you guys have anything to add, and what is one thing that people can learn from your community? So I will start with Sumi.
I think the biggest impact, and what we talked about right before, is that you never should exclude anybody of who they are, and that is what our community is all about, and that is something that should translate to general society, and that should be present in everybody's mind, even if they're not part of the community, and just never exclude anybody just because for who they are, because they're not gonna change it, they don't want to change it, and they shouldn't be asked to change it.
Can I speak?
Yes.
Are you all good? There's this quote from the series that I really like called Fleabag, and they're
I love Fleabag.
Everybody watch it. But it doesn't matter the situation right now, but there's the moment they're talking about something that happened in the school, and then this girl in the series turns to the main character and she says, that's why they put erasers at the end of pencils, because people make mistakes. So it's definitely a lot of like learning that we all do make mistakes, and we all do have or like a way of not getting information, because I feel like that's what I do sometimes. What I do is like I won't get into it because I don't want to know. But we definitely have to be more aware of that, and we definitely have to break those barriers and be more acceptable of learning more and evolving as humans. So yeah, like I do believe a lot in kindness, and I do believe that making part of the LGBT community teach you a very amazing lesson that is very unique. Like, and no one is equal, and that's one of the things that you learn most when you are like part of this, is that everybody's different, everybody feels different, everybody likes in ways that are very different. I love talking to people about how they like perceive that, how they like people in the world of bisexuality. I feel like it's so interesting how people can like more towards sex, and then be more sexually attractive to another one, or desire more certain genre. So yeah, that part is really interesting. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I went on and on. Anything else? There you go.
And Jay?
For me, I have an advice for all the friends who are still in closet. It's Pride Month, and I encourage all you guys be confident about yourself. This spring, I made a film called Cocoon, and Leo is my protagonist in this film. And about a girl, talks about a boy, find him true self. So Cocoon is just like it's just like you're in a barrier, and once you get off from the cocoon, and you're gonna be a beautiful person. So be yourself.
Yeah, I so want to watch that movie. That's so powerful.
It's really good.
Did you guys watch it?
Yes.
Oh, I have it.
Yes. That was so good.
It was
We had a
very-
I'm sorry, I'm
like
going
a,
through ways that I'm not
it
even.
was so good. We had a very much fake movie
Yeah.
premiere for it. The day
Oh,
was applauded. It had tweets as well.
Oh,
That's
like
Also,
I missed
and
it.
then
Like,
also you're amazing. Actually.
oh my god, me too. It was so awesome to work with you. It was so fun.
So yes, and Leo, you look so good in that movie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
yeah, and where can you watch it? Like, I really want to watch it.
We'll send you the link.
Yeah.
We'll send you
Or
that.
when you come back, we'll have another movie night for you. Or just
Okay, wow, that would be nice. Yeah, that would be great. So I would like to end by summarizing like 3 important points that you guys discussed. One, there's nothing wrong with being yourself. It is as normal as being left-handed. It's just another part of who you are. Everyone has a sexual orientation, a gender identity, and a gender expression. Two, it takes time to know who you are. It's okay to be confused, it's okay to be unsure, and it's okay to take your time to find out. There is no need to rush the process. And lastly, you are not alone. Right now there are tens of thousands of non-straight youth and thousands who are wondering and figuring out themselves. It may seem hard to imagine, especially if your community isn't non-straight friendly. However, there are ways to reach out to other young people. If you're in New Brunswick and if you're looking for a community, you can start by connecting with one of us. And thank you for joining us today, and happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month.
And remember, gender is a spectrum. I think everybody is a bit queer.
Yeah.
Everybody's gay. Yeah.
Happy Pride.
Your
Happy
coffee.